Let's make some tough waiver wire decisions next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Wednesday, June 15th. I am Frank Sample, joined by Scott White. And let's start off with a few first basemen. Luke Voit, since coming off the IL on May 10th, is hitting .254, 7 home runs. He's hitting a lot of line drives. And then the other one is Nate Lowe. He went 3 for 4 with his 8th home run on Tuesday, and he is mashing over his last 18 games. Scott, what do you think? Voit or Nate Lowe?
I think I'd rather take a flyer on Nate Lowe with the way he's rolling now. Now, obviously Luke Voit has more of a track record, and it's a very studly track record. Just recently, it's 2 years ago, he's a major league leader in home runs. So if you're saying I have to keep this guy for the rest of the season, okay, maybe I'd go Voit. But since coming back from the IL, Voit has still struck out at a 35% clip. I mean, it's astronomical. So even though he's hit some home runs, the overall stat line isn't that great. Nate Lowe, meanwhile, this is pretty interesting. Over his past 18 games, he's batting .352 with 6 home runs. And you look under the hood, okay, the exit velocity, the hard hit rate during that incredibly hot stretch, they're actually lower than what they are for the season. So it's not like he's just clobbering the ball. But his ground ball rate is way down to 38.3% during that stretch. A lot of line drives, a lot of fly balls. Launch angle's always been an issue for him, preventing him from putting up numbers like he had in the minors. So if he's made an adjustment that's led to those changes, it might suggest that that's more the reason behind the performance than him being hot. And maybe he's not even actually that hot. So while he is catching attention on the waiver wire, I think I'd take a shot on Lowe, see where this goes.
All right, let's move over to some outfielders. Michael Harris, who went 3 for 5, hit his second home run on Tuesday, 3 batted balls over 100 miles per hour. And then Alek Thomas, who has been very solid, batting .270. He's got 5 homers, 2 steals. Both of these guys hit a lot of ground balls. They're both very fast. Scott, what do you think about Michael Harris versus Alek Thomas?
Yeah, similar players. I think Michael Harris, I mean, he's younger, and I think he has more upside, potentially even in the power department. And he made a change, just in the time since he's been called up, he's made a change to his setup at the plate, holds his hands lower, and that's really what's allowed him to take off. Over the past week, exit velocity is up, the launch angle has about doubled. And again, if that's the start of something of a more long-term trend, I could see Harris surpassing Alek Thomas. But at this point, it's almost 6-1, half a dozen of the other. They probably both need to be rostered in 5 outfielder leagues and 3 outfielder leagues. You could at least give them a look.
All right, let's take a look at some injury news. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, Liam Hendriks placed on the IL with a right forearm strain, which means Kendall Graveman will step into the closer role, and he is 15% rostered. Scott, how would you rank Graveman up against some of the most added relief pitchers recently? Tanner Scott with the Marlins, Tanner Houck with the Red Sox, and Diego Castillo with the Mariners.
If we knew this was a long-term absence for Hendriks, I might put Graveman right at the top of the list because I feel like he's going to have a lot of job security. His performance hasn't been as good as last year. He hasn't been like this lockdown reliever, but it's good enough. However, the White Sox, at least as of now, are saying it's only going to be like a 3-week absence for Hendriks. So for that reason, I'd put the Tanners ahead of him, both Tanner Scott and Tanner Houck.
All right, and Tanner Scott picked up his, I believe it was 5th save of the season on Tuesday. Yes, it was. Would you drop?
He has each of the last 4 for the Marlins.
Yeah, he's looked great throwing that slider a bunch, getting a lot of strikeouts. That is Tanner Scott. Would you drop Corey Knebel, who blew another save on Tuesday? His 4th blown save took his 5th loss. There was an error involved, which was not his fault, but he's walking a lot of batters. Hasn't looked great. What do you think?
Would I drop him for any of those guys you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I do think he's in a volatile spot here. And Sir Anthony Dominguez has been the best pitcher in the Phillies bullpen this year. He has some closing experience himself. So I could see a changing of the guard happening there. But volatility just comes with the territory for a closer. And, Tanner Scott, Tanner Houck, they've barely been tested in the role. So they're pretty volatile. They're in pretty volatile spots themselves. So I think I would stick with Knebel over them and just hope he holds on to it.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.